Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to Kottabos Space Program, where today we are having a look at the Aircraft Carrier Accessories mod, which is being made by forum user FlyWileyX, and what this glorious little piece of work looks to add into the game is a series of different aircraft carrier systems, which in the real world make aircraft carriers feasible. For instance, one of the systems included in this mod pack is an actually functioning Catapult system, so you can take an aircraft on your flight deck and launch it with a catapult off of your ship to get it up to flight speed for it to take off, and that is amazing. It's an actually functioning catapult. I love it. And all of the different systems that are added in by this mod are sort of made to be a bit generic in their size, shape, and look, so that they can easily fit in with basically any of the existing boat mods that do exist out there. So whether you're playing with SM Marine, large boat parts, or even carrier vessel expansion, you should be able to use all of these parts as easily as you could with any of those other mods, and that just makes it all the better. So let's jump right on into the spaceplane hangar and have a look at how this all works. And before we get into the actual aircraft carrier systems, we do want to look at one command pod that's added in by this, which is fairly impressive, as the mod maker decided to add in a full-sized USS Enterprise aircraft carrier for you to basically use as a test bed carrier for this mod, so you have a nice aircraft carrier to work with right off the bat without having to need any of those other ship mods, at least for the time being. And I gotta say, it's a pretty impressive ship if we pop it onto here and then actually try and bring it down a little bit. As you can see, it is an impressively large aircraft carrier that basically doesn't fit inside of the spaceplane hangar here, and frankly, I should probably have hangar extender installed for it to actually fit. And overall, it's a pretty impressive thing, not just in size, but in its stats. It has a crew capacity of 300 Kerbals. That's a lot of Kerbals. It requires a minimum crew of 3 to operate. It does have its own built-in engine with, as you can see here, a max thrust of 150,000 kilonewtons, and uses liquid fuel for its actual propulsion. It does have a built-in generator, reaction wheel, SAS, and will hold 10,000 electric charge and 30,000 liquid fuel. And overall, a pretty impressive craft, and oh boy, let's actually see if we can lower this thing down more to make it a bit more feasible to work with today, as it is, as I said, a good tool to use as our test bed for these parts. There we go, lowered down quite nicely. And now for the actual aircraft carrier systems, we're going to need to go down to the structural tab, which personally I find a bit odd. I would have thought that these parts, being as they are aircraft carrier systems, that maybe they'd be down in utility, but no, they all live here in structural. And the first one we're going to have a look at here today is the one I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the Catapult. Oh, I love this thing so much. And basically, if we just grab this catapult here, what you see is we have an odd blue box with a big line coming out the end of it. And the box is where you'd actually taxi your aircraft up to, so that its front wheel is inside of that, and the line is the direction that the catapult will actually fling it. And that is wonderful. And as you can see, it will go onto this aircraft carrier quite nicely. And if we pop it there, you'll notice that we have the blue box, and we also see the white line. Now, the white line is there at the moment basically as a guide, so you can see exactly where that is going to go, and then you can use it from that point, so you can do fine-tune adjustments to make sure that the catapult is going in the exact direction that you want it to. And then the mod maker suggests that once you do have it perfectly in place with the right angle that you want, that you do go into the move tool or some form of fine-tune editing to actually lower this thing down, so that all you have on the surface is the blue box, because that white line will show right there, and so that on the surface, when you're actually out in the world, all you do have showing is this for you to taxi up to. And it's a very nice system. I do quite like it. And overall, it's just an impressive catapult. Now, how it works, we'll talk about that outside in a moment. Let's move on to the next part, which is the arresting wire. Now, in an actual aircraft carrier, these are used to actually stop the aircraft so, you know, it doesn't fly off the end when it's landing, and it serves the same function here, which is such an impressive thing to have in this game. And how you install this on your carrier is just like with the Catapult here. You're going to want to put it on your carrier, but say that this right here, this runway, is actually our landing runway, which in the real world that would be right there. You would adjust it so that this line is perpendicular to your landing runway, and then once you have it in place, you click it there, and you see we have, just like with the Catapult, a circular thing here and a circular thing over here, and a white line going between the two. And just like with this, the idea is for you, once you have it in place perpendicular to your landing runway, to fine-tune it by moving it down and having that white line just below the surface. And what will happen in the real world once you're out flying is between those two circles, they will be attached by a cable, and that cable will actually be snagged on the bottom of an aircraft by a tail hook. This little fella right here. Now you just put this thing onto the bottom of any aircraft that you have. So for instance, you could load, say, the Albatross or one of those from the list in there, pop this little cable onto it, or tail hook rather, and let's just place it on the ground there. And then when in flight, you deploy this hook so that it pops out, and it will catch on the wires created by the arresting wires. And it works impressively well, though at this point I do have to mention it's also a little awkward. Now, in the real world, how these cables work is once the hook snatches it, it basically slowly winches outward to slow down the aircraft, and then the aircraft stops, they unhook the hook, and then they winch the cable back to a taut position. Now, how it works in the game, and probably it's a limitation of the engine, so I'm not blaming the mod maker for this, is essentially that cable works like a rubber band. So, there's the possibility if you come in too quickly, as I have a tendency to do being an awful pilot, that your plane could catch, keep going for a bit, and then start being forcibly moved back that way and launched off the back of the aircraft carrier. I've had that happen to me twice now with this mod, which just means that I need to be a better pilot and actually land a little bit slower on the aircraft carrier, but still, it is a concern that this basically functions more like a rubber band than a cable that is on a winch system, which is a little bit interesting, so just keep that in mind. Now, another thing with the tail hook that I didn't mention is if we right-click it, we do have a deploy angle here, so you can adjust that. I don't know if there's any difference in how the angle is compared to how the cable will actually get caught, but I've just left it at the default 45 and it seems to work just fine. And the final system that we have is an impressive one, the OLS, or Optical Landing System. And what this is going to do is basically give you on the screen when you're trying to land an indicator of if you're actually going to crash or not. And basically how it works is how you install it is, you see we have this white block, and you want this white block to be just behind your first arresting cable that we have here on the aircraft carrier. And then if we highlight this, oh god, where'd it go? I always get lost in the direction of this thing. We'll just kind of rotate it around a bit. There it is. Haha, I found it. Now you'll notice that there is a box over there in the distance. So what you want is this little white box to be just behind. Oh god, if I can actually click this thing. There we go. You want this to be just behind and center of your arresting wire, and then that box over here, this green one, to be out behind the aircraft carrier. And what this is going to do, don't worry, it's not visible normally when you're flying around, but once you get close to the aircraft carrier, it'll start trying to bring you into land. And basically this box is going to be way out there in the world, and it's going to guide you into landing, and you're going to have indicators that'll tell you if you're flying too high or too low, too fast or too slow, etc. And it is pretty impressive. So again, how you set it up is your first arresting wire that you have, you sort of set this box just behind it and have that green box going out back the aircraft carrier. Now, if we actually look at the fully created Enterprise that the mod maker does include, you can see all this functioning quite nicely. So we have the different arresting wires here, so we have a series of 4 of them to really make sure that you catch when you land. We then have that optical landing system just under the deck, which I didn't mention again. Just like with the other things, you're going to want to lower it down, but for the optical landing system, you actually want to hide it entirely under the deck, as you can see right there. And then off the back, you can see our guidance system, which again isn't going to show unless you are actually landing. And then up at the front up there, we have the catapults. Now that is how it all should be set up properly. Let's actually go and look at it in practice. Now I have an aircraft carrier over here with an Ares 3A with a tailhook installed, ready to go. Hopefully it should all be just fine. Don't crash. There we go. Beautiful. And as you can see, we have the arresting cables over there. We have our little aircraft with a tow hook right there, and what we're gonna do is taxi ourselves just up there to one of those catapults. So let's activate our engine and move just up here. Now it's a fairly simple method of how you actually do this. Again, you just have to slowly but surely taxi your way up here. Now you're going to want to go pretty slow because you want to be dead on, and what you need to do is get your front wheel into that box. Let's slowly but surely go forward. Don't want to overshoot the darn thing, and let's be prepared to brake. And brake. Oh, we need a little bit more, a little bit closer. There we go. We have attached to the catapult. And you'll notice the catapult is now yellow, which is quite nice. And that's showing that we are locked in. And what's fun here is basically how this works is when we take off the brake, it's going to fly. So right now, we can throttle up as much as we want. We're not going anywhere, and as you can see, that is what I'm doing there, and it goes quite nicely. And let's throttle down for the moment. Now, you are actually supposed to be able to right-click and change the actual thrust that the catapult will produce, but honestly, I have not had that happen yet. I can't seem to actually do that. Now, it says to click on the ship, the aircraft carrier, but that doesn't seem to bring up anything. And if I click on my plane, well, I don't seem to have any options for that particular function. Ooh, though, since I did kind of power myself up, I'm a little bit wonky here, which shouldn't be too bad. But you know what? The standard speed for this works out pretty nicely. So let's just throttle up. Oh god, we're going to be wonky, but still, nonetheless, it should work. And let us just undo the brake, because again, that's how this functions. You just turn off the brake, and the catapult goes and launches the aircraft. And there we go. We are up to speed and flying, and I love that so much. It is a very, very impressive system. Now, what we're going to do is actually fly up and over the aircraft carrier and come back around and try and land, which if you guys know me, you know that's probably not gonna actually occur. We're probably going to die, but we're gonna give it a go anyways. So basically to show off the optical landing system and hopefully the arresting wire. Now I'm actually going to, oh, there we go. Let us deploy the tail hook. We're gonna throttle down here. And, oh boy, that was close. Okay, so our tail hook is down. I'm going to throttle down even more, and as you can see, now that we're about 2 kilometers out, we have this targeting system, which is telling me many things. Oh god, I'm supposed to be over there. I'm supposed to be over there. You're supposed to follow the box into landing, and I have not. Oh boy, abort, there we go. So as you can see, yeah, that box sort of flies through the air, and you're supposed to follow that into landing, but of course, I was not in the right place whatsoever. So let's try that again. So let's throttle up and try and boost out, and we'll try for one more landing. But honestly, I really don't see it working out too well for me, because, well, oh, I've never been good at landing on things. And you'll notice that it doesn't come on unless I'm approaching the aircraft from the rear, because it knows that I'm getting closer between those 2 points that make up that part. So let's actually just flip around here again. There we go. We have the targeting system. I am way too high. And oh boy, this is not gonna land well. I'm not gonna land this at all. Oh, we're gonna try though. We're gonna try. Oh god. Now you'll notice the different colors. I will explain those in a moment. Oh boy, and I aborted. Okay, yeah, I am not good at the flying of one of these planes. So what we're gonna do is try this one more time. I'm going to fast forward, and actually, while we're getting back into position, I guess this would be a good time not to stall, oh god. Okay, and... oh, thank god I didn't die. Now, on the optical landing system, to actually discuss those colors, the indicators that you get, when it's yellow, that is that you're on the ideal glide path. Red means that you are to the left or bottom of the ideal glide path, and green means the opposite of that, so you're on the right or top of the glide path. And so that is how you are supposed to sort of navigate your way with this thing. It's just still, I'm an awful pilot, and that's just never going to work. Let's see if we can get it this time. If not, we're probably going to crash into our aircraft carrier. I'm just going to go ahead and turn the brakes right here, because we're coming in hot. We are coming in hot. Tailhooks, take. Nope, didn't even work then. Oh boy. Okay. We're gonna try one more time. Okay, so you may have noticed that I'm back on the runway now, and that we kind of crashed in that fast-forward sequence, and we have a new plane in Kerbal, but I think this actually may be a good plan, and rather than me just circling around the aircraft carrier over and over, we're roughly lined up with it already from the actual runway. So, if I just deploy my cable hook here, we should be good? Question mark? Oh, we're better lined up than we have been previously. We are coming in fast, though. Oh, geez. Let's hope that the brakes and everything work. And cable's caught us. The cable has caught us, as you can see. And it's flinging us back. Like I told you, it will rubber band affect you. But we're good. We're good. We've landed, technically. Now, you did get to see that interesting rubber band effect the mod actually does do to you, but overall, we did actually land this plane, which, frankly, is probably the best version of a landing we can ask for with my horrible piloting abilities. But you were able to see that our hook did grab on to the first little resting wire here, and did, oh god, carry us all the way almost to the end, and then fling us backwards. Again, that weird rubber banding, but if you are a better pilot than me, which I'm fairly confident that most of you out there are, you probably shouldn't run into that problem, and you'll just have a nice, safe, gentle landing. But yes, that is the aircraft carrier accessories mod. We have the arresting wires with the tow hook, we have the catapult system to launch the planes off the deck, and finally, the optical landing system to try and help you land better, but I don't think anything could help me actually land a plane properly. But yes, if you would like to check out this mod for yourself, and I would definitely definitely say to go and give it a try. You can take a look at the link in the description as always. And yeah, that's going to be it for this video today. I hope you all have enjoyed, and of course, that you do come back for the next episode, where hopefully we will be looking at yet another wonderful mod. But until that time, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one!